Hey, what's going on to all my gaming addicts and gamerholics? Welcome back to the Gamers Anonymous Podcast, a show all about gaming and other related news to give you that fix to ease your gaming itch. This is episode number 55, and today is January 8th, 2023. I am your host, Trey Turpin, and of course, in this episode, we are going to discuss Xbox January game showcase rumors and PlayStation 5 sells over 30 million units plus a lot more we're going to talk about. So as always, I'm accompanied by my brother Shane Turpin. What's going on, bruh?
What's going on, bro, man? I'm glad to be doing another one at the top of the year once again, starting out right. You know what I'm saying? It's feeling good. I know we had a little hiatus or whatever, but we back at it, man. So let's get
Yes,
to it.
sir. Yes. So I'm excited for this one. I think last episode we talked about, what we thought of 2022 and what we would like to expect in 2023. So I'm excited to actually jump into some specific gaming news topics here, especially it's some that's been quite spicy, making headlines around the whole gaming community this past week or so. So definitely can't wait to jump in it. Before we jump into the news, we always got to talk about, what we've been up to and what games we've been playing. So Shane, got to shoot it over to you. What you've been playing this last week since we last did this.
Man, honestly, man, I can't even lie. My schedule has been so jam packed. I haven't had a time to touch anything. I mean, literally, no anything. Like I turned around like earlier, like I was like my first time off in like 2 weeks. You know what I mean? But
Mhm.
I looked at the Xbox and I was like, why is it on? You know what I mean? I'm like, who turned it on? Like, because I'm like, it shouldn't be on. Because if so, it's been on for days.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, you
yeah,
know what
yeah.
I mean?
Y'all got to
And I'm
ghost
like,
that crib.
no, I might accidentally hit the controller or something. But man, honestly, I swear I haven't touched anything. Hopefully that won't be the case too much longer. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, we just had a real busy schedule. My girl's friend had a baby, so we had to do the thing with all that. It was actually a baby shower, but she ended up going and having a baby, all that, going into labor. So,
What? Oh
yeah,
man.
right. So, well, we was so yeah. Long story short, we had to do that, and then like you know. One of our jobs is having like a little event thing, so like we gotta go to that too. And we're
Mhm,
like loners, dog. We just stay in the house and do us, like you know what I mean. So
mhm.
like, doing a little extra stuff outside of work, it's been like we ain't had no us time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
for
Yep, I
real,
know exactly how that is. That's how the holidays were. I had
for
3 weeks
real.
off, and you know what I'm saying, and I feel like I didn't get anything accomplished that I wanted to get accomplished in those 3
Yeah,
weeks, but it's all good. Okay,
all
so
right.
didn't get to play anything. That's a shame,
Nah,
but
nah.
totally understandable. I know for me, I actually play because I go back to work. This is the end of my 3 weeks, so I actually go back to work in tomorrow. So I made sure
Man,
to try to game it up as heavy as I could this past couple days.
definitely.
So I know that Saints Row was actually free on Xbox for the weekend.
uh,
It started on Thursday, and it ends today. So I actually been wanting to play that game, but I've heard like a bunch of not mixed reviews. I just heard a bunch of garbage reviews, but there was a lot of people saying that it was actually fun and yada yada yada. So I had a little hope. Was playing that, and not going to lie, I was a little let down. You know, it just felt outdated. The controls were very rough, and it like I don't know. I was expecting more. Like this was a reboot. I felt like they were going to come bigger and better. They've learned from the previous games. They know what works, what people want, and like I thought the graphics were going to be better. Everything. Nope. Still looks like to me like a 360 game type deal. It has the same
was
engine,
it
of
supposed to
course.
be better?
Like what, graphics
Like,
or just the game in general?
yeah,
Um,
like
uh, I mean, that was my expectations anyway. I mean, because it's like the last proper Saints Row game was during the 360 era. You know what I'm saying? So they're like, yeah, we're coming back. We're gonna reboot the game. Like I'm thinking of like at least like finer graphics. You know, it looks more realistic. You know, at least in my head. You know, and in the
So they just did a port.
that's what it looks like. Like the engine didn't change. They didn't fine tune the engine or anything like that. You know, it just seems like I don't know. This was their last effort attempt to, you know, it seems like things might have been going downhill a little bit. So they're like, hey, let's bring back one of our best franchise and let's try to do it right and revitalize and get some money going. And it just seems like I don't know, it's buggy. The world doesn't seem full of life the way I wanted it to. I mean, I can find some enjoyment, but there's nothing keeping me wanting to play more. The story starts to like I don't know. It's just all over the place. I'm not going to get into it, but I was just a little let down. Um, but it's definitely a Saints Row game, but it seems like a 2011 Saint Rose game, and I actually think the game that came out in 2011, Saints the Third, was better. You know what I'm saying? Like everything about that was just better. Even though I could have my rose tinted glasses on, I haven't touched that game since 2011, but still, I actually enjoyed it and loved every minute of it. This one just didn't hit the mark. So I've been playing that, and I've also been playing Tunic. I've been just pretty much listening to podcasts. People keep talking about the best games that they've played in 2022, and Tunic was on a few people's list. And I'm like, yeah, I actually started that game. The game was actually it's like a Zelda like or Souls Zelda like game where it does not hold your hand at all and it does not give you direction. You pretty much find out everything on your own and you just go from there. So that kind of turned me off a little bit in the beginning. I'm like, okay, I actually like some sense of direction. But the more you play, the more you pick up items and pick up actually like there's a game booklet in game that you collect the pieces to, and it shows you like maps of the levels that you're on. It shows you, oh, you picked up this item but didn't know what it did, but now you picked up a piece. It tells you what it does, and it just keeps going from there. And it was actually pretty interesting. It actually made me like it more that I got further into the game. So I've just been playing that. It has me hooked as of right now. I'm currently looking at other games to play, of course, to go in between. I'm thinking of hopping back onto either Deathloop on the PlayStation 5 or Returnal on the PlayStation 5 as well. So but that's all I've been playing, man. Just dreading going back to work tomorrow. It's been 3 weeks too long, and I'm not looking forward to going back. But
Definitely know that feeling.
but we're about to go ahead and jump into the topics. Shane, did you have any last minute things you wanted to discuss?
Nah, man, let's get to this first topic.
All right. So, of course, before we get started, if you would like to support the show, go ahead and subscribe to the Gamers Anonymous Podcast YouTube channel and hit the notification bell to stay up to date when new videos drop. Also, don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment. For our audio listeners, make sure to subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify to stay up to date for new episodes. Also, rate and leave a review, which would help the show out tremendously. And of course, on the behalf of all of us here at The Gap, a big thanks to everyone for continuing to show love and support. All right. So, of course, jumping into the first topic here. The first topic we're going to go ahead and talk about is pretty much all the Xbox related news, and the big one being Xbox January game showcase potentially being rumored. Now, this is just give you a little backstory. This is coming off the heels of course, Xbox not really, performing well in 2022. When I mean performing well, I mean like not having a big presence in 2022 when it comes to games, especially first party games. And then not only that, the biggest night in gaming, the Video Game Awards, they were non-existent. The only thing they had was like a 30-second Xbox Game Pass sizzle reel. That's about it. Just saying, hey, sign up for $1. All that jazz they've been doing for a while now. They didn't announce any games, didn't give us any dates on games that were already announced, nothing. So a lot of people were mad. So after that event, um, one of the heads over there at Xbox came out and pretty much said, like, hey, we hear you guys. I just want to let you know that some news is coming very, very soon, and we can't wait to share it with you guys. So this is where the speculations and the rumors are coming from. Xbox having a game showcase sometime in January. They're predicting late January. So pretty much any time now. I feel like by the time this drops, Xbox likes to announce things on Monday. So by the time you're watching this, they might already have announced it. But as of right now, it's a rumor. So with that being said, Shane, like, so what do you expect? If this is true, do you think it's very important for them to do this showcase? And what would you like to see from it if they choose to do it?
Man, I mean everything you said prior is true. Like they haven't had a voice in this fight for a while. We've all known it. They haven't really revealed anything. So this showcase, I mean, to anybody that's on the Xbox platform or even PC or anything like that, this is definitely well needed. Like people been waiting on this. We've been asking what's going on, and I mean, we all understand the acquisition, but man, like, come on, like, so we just gonna have no games for 2 years? Like,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, what's going on?
Mhm.
Like, like, I mean, I'm all supportive, but you can't lie in the facts. Like at the end of the day, like they definitely need to do this. It's well past time. So I mean, it only makes sense for them to do something. It may not be like as big of a show as like what everybody may want, but
Yeah,
I definitely think they're going to definitely give us something. You know what I mean?
yeah, I agree. I definitely want to pinpoint. I feel like people, I feel like it's going to be a great show, but people are just going to, expect a E3 level show.
Right? They
And
gonna spec everything.
so hopefully Xbox goes ahead. They've done it before, but it's like they've done it before and then they didn't do it another time, which is insane because it worked the first time. Like they've set expectations before, like, hey, this is what we're showing, just to set expectations. And then that worked well. So people, had their expectations in check. Then the next event came and people's expectations went wild and they didn't set the record straight and people were let down. So hopefully this time they jump in front of it and say, hey, this is what we're showing. They did a good job with that at E3 saying, we're showing you games that's coming out within the next 12 months. So they need to go ahead and jump in, set expectations. And not only that, the biggest thing is if this is something that is going to happen, which we all agree it needs to, they need to start announcing some release dates, giving us some release dates to
Facts.
the big games like Redfall, Starfield, Forza Motorsport, Minecraft. I believe it's Dungeons or Legends. I think it's Legends. I think Minecraft Dungeons is already out.
Yeah, sorry, yo.
But yeah, they have these games. They need to go ahead and give us concrete dates so we can just start preparing. I know people like to take days off so they can actually play the games, especially with a game like Starfield. Come on now.
Facts. I
You're
might
gonna
have to
need
put in a couple for that for real.
exactly. So that's what people want. People want to get excited. Like people like I don't want to be like, yeah, I know it's supposed to be coming within the next 6 months, but it's like it would be nicer if I knew it was coming out in April, March, February, tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Like versus
Right.
this unknown. So with that being said, do you feel like they only have 6 months to release the games that were announced at last E3 that didn't come out? So, with that being said, like I said, they have Redfall, Starfield, Forza Motorsport. Do you think they would be able to release those on in time, or do you think something might slip?
Nah, man. I think these games have been well done. The games have been finished. I think that they just been like doing like the meticulous polish ups and stuff. You know what I mean? Just making sure everything is up to par and expectations because I believe they know that they have such standards to uphold. You know what I mean? To a point. Like, yeah,
Mhm.
hopefully they don't let me down. Please don't let us down.
Ooh, don't
But
hold your breath.
right. I don't want to put my foot in my mouth for sure. I'll be the first one to admit it if it does happen though, for real. But yeah, definitely, man. I just feel like they know the expectations are high and they know this. The bar is already set. It's no lowering it,
Mhm.
so they have to deliver. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This right here, like I don't know, I mean, it means a lot for the Game Pass. It means a lot for everything coming together. You know what I mean? Like all these games coming out, like they need to Starfield and Redfall need to hit properly.
Yes. Yes.
They need
They
to
really do.
land.
Yes.
And like, I mean, just for you know what I mean, on a business perspective,
I totally agree. I don't think they can afford to uh, you know, um, miss the deadline. Like anything that comes out after June, like I said, I'm not going to get mad if a game needs to be delayed. Then by all means, if it's going to be make the game better, then yes. But you know what I'm saying? Like we can't keep this consistency going. Like we need games, especially like someone like me. Excuse me, someone like me who was in day one, like when the system dropped. You know what I'm saying? Like I went ahead, got the system the first year, understand, blase, blase. It's the first year. People were playing multi-plats anyway. You know what I'm saying? The second year come around, started off, I want to say started off okay. You know what I'm saying? Started off pretty good because Halo dropped and Forza Horizon 5 dropped. So it was like started off strong, but games were still coming out for last gen and this gen, you know. Then nothing actually showed up. We're going on in year 3 now, and it still feel like, why do we have these consoles? You know what I'm saying? So
so true.
I just want that to change. So I feel like these games need to come out. I feel like they have plenty enough time. I know people don't want Xbox to stack these games, like, but hey, like like I'm all down for it at this point. You know what I'm saying? There's no point in staggering it out throughout the rest of the year. Go ahead, 1 month, give me a game. Next month, give me a game, and so on and so forth. Because all these games, it's not like they're like, oh, they're going to release one shooter today, a shooter next month, a shoot. Like they're all different genres. So it's like, how come they can't come out relatively close to each other? So with that being said, when do you think the first one will actually be releasing? Because a lot of people are saying
Oh man.
like for some reason nobody sees a game coming out in February, and no
Yeah, I don't
and
definitely no time soon. February, March. Okay, March, May, June, or July. Man,
or April.
or April, right? You get so many shit, right? I definitely see March, May ish area. I don't see February for sure. I definitely something has to come out by March, May for sure.
Yeah, and they still have like third-party deals to hold them
Right.
over. You know what I'm saying? They have the Wolong Dynasty, they have Atomic Heart, they have also later this month, they have like the Persona games dropping as well. So they have
Hmm.
like third-party support until they drop their big hitters. But I know a lot of people, I'm looking up the calendar right now. I know a lot of people are saying
July.
no. No. You might as well call Xbox a done data. It's a done data at this point. A lot of people are saying like they could see like Starfield possibly coming out March 3rd, so 3/3/23. That's probably the earliest that it would come out, but they're saying it might not even come out that early. It'll probably come out April. All right. And then they're saying for some reason, even though Redfall was supposed to come out before Starfield, it's actually going to
Now it's
come out
coming out after.
after. Yeah. So people are saying that's going to be the very next month. So Starfield in May, and then or not May, Starfield in April, and then Redfall in May. And the reason why they say Redfall is definitely May is because there actually has been, I want to say, like a leak or rumor or actual content actually, stating that it's going to be, I believe, the May 3rd, or was it the 5th? One of the 5th is a Friday, but that first week in May is when Redfall is supposed to come out. So,
Right.
and then we still don't know about Forza Motorsport. They are saying if there was any game to get slipped out or to slip out of this time frame would be Forza Motorsport, and people were saying that they wouldn't even be tripping if that was, let that come out in like the second half, to bolster up the second half output that they're going to put out later this year. So but other than that, and then of course Minecraft, we don't know. That's why we need this showcase. We need our expectations to be put at ease, and we need to know for sure what's coming. So we do know that there was an actual official statement on the Starfield webpage stating that it is coming out first half of 2023. So that's good to know. All right. So, but also, so ending that part of it, I wanted to talk about Redfall. Actually, there actually been some new, pretty much information regarding the game Redfall. So I'm gonna pull that up for you guys here. All right. So here, this is an article on gamesradar.com. It pretty much is stating, because when Redfall was actually announced, a lot of people was comparing it to like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood. They're thinking it's one of those type of games. And one of the directors went ahead and came out and said, nope, this isn't like their version of Left 4 Dead. It's the studio spinoff on like Far Cry. Not spinoff, but like their spin on Far Cry when it comes to open world. So let's dig a little bit deeper on what he means by that. So here it says, Arcane creative director Ricardo Bear, he says it's totally understandable for somebody to come to that conclusion of it being like Left 4 Dead. He said there are 4 playable characters. You can play together cooperatively, and you're going against the undead. But in terms of the way that you play and experience Redfall, it's not like those games at all. Redfall is more like loading into Far Cry. All right. And he digs a little bit deeper, pretty much explaining why he gave that comparison. So he said, it said, so by Arcane standards, the description of a big ass open world is accurate. Redfall is an unfathomably larger space than Prey's Talos 1, but by modern open world standards, oh my goodness, the titular island, I believe I said that right, will likely be quaint by comparison. He says, you want to see if you can get into a barn you found, climb a fire lookout tower that you spotted in the distance, or try to get into a house to read all the notes scattered inside, Smith continues, explaining that you'll still have the freedom to approach missions, areas, and in-world locations with the same curiosity and ingenuity as you could in Dishonored or Prey. Some of Redfall's most powerful moments come from wandering around, absorbing the world, and getting caught up in high action for a moment. That was the atmosphere we set out to create from the beginning. All right. So let's see if there was anything else I highlighted. No. So pretty much what I was taking from it, I thought I highlighted another portion, but pretty much what I was getting from him, pretty much comparing it to Far Cry, is that they wanted to create a world that was pretty much felt familiar. You know what I'm saying? Like with Far Cry, at least with the past 2 entries, it was like in cities that was like very familiar, familiar to the player. It wasn't these, how can I say it? Like with Dishonored, like their other worlds, it was pretty much like sci-fi-esque, like it can only be in the video games type of deal. This one he wanted to pretty, I guess, make it seem believable. He said like you're in a town in New England, you know what I'm saying? They have shops, bars, they have amusement parks there, you know what I'm saying? They wanted to actually give you that sense of like, hey, I've been in a place like this. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think he means by that, and not the actual gameplay of Far Cry. Um, Let me see. I thought there was something else. Oh no.
So a
Okay.
Far Cry like world, pretty much. Like
Yeah.
as far as like
But
the openness and like you know what I mean.
so they pretty much, like I said, I thought I had it on here, but they also made a statement about it being like, you do have like a home base where you can actually talk with NPCs, and they can actually give you missions to go out and do, and side quests and things like that. So
Right, right,
um
right.
to me, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be one of those people, but I'm actually more excited for Redfall than Starfield. For some odd reason, the atmosphere just seems dope. Just, everything about this game is capturing me. Even when they were comparing it to Left 4 Dead and Back 4 Blood, I love those games too, but I wasn't believing that, just because like it just didn't seem like they didn't show you waves of enemies coming at you. No, this was like you actually are actually doing a story mission. You can either sneak or not and do what you need to do to handle the situation, you know. But Shane, what do you think about this news? Does it intrigue you a little bit more with Redfall? Was it even on your radar?
No, it definitely intrigues me. Yeah, Redfall was definitely on my radar. I think
Mhm.
I've been low key more excited for it myself. But just because of the differentness, you know what I mean, the new experiences thing that we talked about at the top of the year, like, I mean, that just, I mean, sums it up right there for real. Like,
Yeah.
so, but I mean, with the way it's looking and all, like, I love vampire games, zombie stuff like that. So it's like, it's in my realm, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely excited to see what they do with it, you know what I mean? I know a lot of. I feel like few people kind of been sleeping on it. Like, not saying everybody, because some people do see the value in it. But I
Mhm.
do feel like some people have kind of been sleeping on it a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so too. I think the whole, because everybody's so, they're so focused on Starfield just because it's pretty much the next game created by Todd Howard, who gave us, Elder Scrolls and Fallout. You know what I'm saying? So people are just like, oh, Starfield. I feel like even though Starfield is a new IP, I still feel like I'm a know what this game is about or what it's going to offer me. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how I'm feeling,
Right.
and that's why I'm not as excited for it, because I'm just thinking, Skyrim in space, Fallout in space. You know what I'm saying? Anything can happen. Explore the world, you'll come across stuff. You're like, oh shoot, you know what I'm saying? Like just everything that you would get out of a Todd Howard game. Redfall, it's like, okay, what is this world? Why are the vampires here and things like that? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm just very intrigued in it. And I love a good co-op game, even though I never really invest in co-op games. I just love the fact that you could play with friends and, tackle the mission together, because it all goes back to them split screen days when we loved playing a game that we could play together for sure. Um, so that's why I'm enjoying it. But that's good to hear that they went ahead and clarified that. Hopefully, we get more news on it when if this showcase is going to come around. If not, closer to when it's about to launch within the next couple months. So let's move on to another Xbox related news. Is that there have been rumors of there being like a new IP being developed by Tango Gameworks that is on the scale of Pentiment, which was made by Obsidian. Now, it seems like Obsidian is Xbox's golden child right now. They've been pumping out more content since they've been acquired than the rest of the studios that got acquired around the same time. Like they came out with Grounded, they came out with Pentiment. I think they went ahead and announced some horror looking game. They had announced Avowed. They did the Outer Worlds. Like they announced the Outer Worlds 2. Like, man, these guys never quit. You know what I'm saying? So Tango Gameworks is currently, let me pull up the article here.
Avowed. Oh my goodness.
So it says that this is a article on xfire.com. So pretty much it's just stating about this rumor. It's saying, according to multiple sources, including Window Central's Jez Corden, Microsoft will host a showcase early next year. This article was before the new year. A handful of other credible leakers have corroborated the same report, with Giant Bomb's Jeff Grubb adding that the showcase will feature the reveal of a Pentiment level game from a first-party studio, before naming the said studio as Tango Gameworks, the developers of the Evil Within series, pretty much the creator of Resident Evil, who started this studio. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm a fan of theirs.
Big
So
facts.
so pretty much, just want to throw that out there, because a lot of people, the reason why I bring this up and people are starting to talk about it is because Pentiment was a surprise hit. It was a smaller game, like a passion project of sorts, and it was announced during E3, and it came out and people were blown away, got great reviews. You know what I'm saying? I have yet to check it out, but it's definitely on my I added to my play later list on Game Pass. So Shane, what do you think about this announcement? And is this a good thing?
Uh, yeah, man. I feel like it is.
Okay.
What are you referring to exactly?
It's a rumor that a new IP is coming from Tango
Oh
Gameworks.
yeah, the new
Like,
IP. Yeah, the never seen before IP. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
mm,
No, yeah, this is definitely great, bro. Like, new experiences once again. Like, this is what we've
mm,
been asking for. Like, definitely. So a new IP. I'm more excited about a new IP and something that we never seen before. That gets me locked in immediately. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely want to figure out. You know what I mean? Like, we want to hear more or see more, or hopefully they reveal more. Like, we definitely need something new for sure.
yes, sir. All right. So I'm excited for it too. So, like, the more games, the merrier, the more value it brings to Game Pass. All right. So, the last thing that we're going to round up on this Xbox news right here is that during CES, Asus went ahead and announced a new Xbox controller with the built-in OLED screen. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up here. So this is an article on IGN.com, and it says that the Asus ROG Rakiri Pro, I don't know how they be coming up with some crazy names, features a 1.3-inch OLED display just above the Xbox button, which can display things such as a custom image or animation and battery life. The controller features two buttons between a USB-C port, which are used to swap between your controller profiles. Additionally, the Rakiri Pro includes four programmable back buttons, trigger locks, and circular D-pad, in addition to a dedicated mute button and a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. The Asus, oh man, Asus app for PC will be used to remap buttons, adjust joystick sensitivity, and enable trigger modes and dead zones on the controller. All right, and this is the first look of said controller. All right, so Shane, go ahead. You're more of the tech wizard. What do you think about this announcement here?
You want my honest opinion?
Yes, sir. Yep.
I mean, honestly, it's cool and everything. The controller looks decent. I don't really know how nice it will operate and function, the functionality of it. But I mean, this is like a kind of niche market thing. I feel like because everybody else is just going to use. I mean, most people would just use it. It's just like an Xbox controller with a screen on it. Like, so
Pretty much.
I mean, yeah, right. For people on PC, most people already have a dedicated controller or PC, or they use with something that they already have,
Yeah.
like their Xbox or PlayStation controllers. You know what I mean? Most people just use their keyboard or mouse, but I just feel like, and then the the function of what the screen provides you, it's a little like, well, what do I really need that for?
Hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking
Like,
too. Like it's just, and they're saying it's an OLED, like it
so
matters.
are you showing like the potentials of what could be, or like it'd be different if it was like a nice size little chunk screen and it was touch screen
Yeah,
and it could show you stuff on there or whatever, it had a
yeah,
little menu or something. I don't know, but as
man,
far
yeah.
as
I mean, you're taking me back. That's what I was looking at too. It was pretty much just saying like the screen can show you. You can put whatever there is customizable. It seems like probably your gamer tag name. I don't know. You want to be cool, I guess. Um, I don't know. Other than it showing battery life and potentially just battery life or the time, I really wouldn't know why that screen would need to be there. So it'd be fun to see, what people would actually do with that
what
feature.
people do with it, right?
Mhm.
If people, for sure.
Yeah. So, but it was taking me back to I'm not gonna get it. It just slipped my mind like that. Boom. You reminded me of something and it just went away like that. All right. But yeah, so that's all the news I have that was Xbox related that could tie in with the Xbox January game showcase. Was there anything else we missed before we go ahead and jump into our next topic?
Nah,
No.
man, I think
Okay.
that's it.
All right, bet. That's what I like to hear. So, of course, I appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. If you guys are enjoying the content, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. We'd really appreciate it. If you could go ahead and leave a comment on what you think about, a potential Xbox showcase coming in January and what you would like to see. And, I would love to hear y'all's thoughts about the topic. So, we're going to go ahead and jump into our next topic here, which is going to be PlayStation 5 selling over 30 million consoles, baby. Now, that's a huge milestone. Pretty much everybody knows that CES was going on here, and it was going on in January. I don't know if it's still going on or not, but it happened, and Sony was there, of course, and they went ahead and announced some things. They had a whole segment on PlayStation, by the way, and they went ahead and said that they sold over 30 million, which was a few days ago. So that's kudos to them. I believe Xbox is shy of 20 million, or they're like it's like 15 or 18 million. So they're definitely dusting Xbox in terms of sales. Even though they both were harder to find, but Xbox people were actually able to buy the Series S's. So that's like I said, they were hard to find and they still sold like hotcakes. So that's very good. And on that note, Jim Ryan went ahead and came out and said that there's actually going to be more consoles readily available. So Shane, what do you think about this achievement, and then about there being more consoles out in the wild now?
This is a great accomplishment for sure. Like, hats off to Sony and them. I mean, they always put up big numbers. I mean, they've been the big dog in the industry for a long time. Nobody can deny that, man. As much as I am an Xbox guy, or normally play on that system or whatever,
For
PlayStation
sure.
has always held their weight. And you know what I mean? And the proof is in the pudding. So I mean, it is what it is. So they can't really act like they're going to be hurt so bad because of this acquisition stuff. But that's another topic.
Yeah,
But
yes,
I
sir.
am I am glad for them. You know what I mean. And the more PlayStation fives out in the wild, the better. Hopefully, they you know can start. Oh shit! I lost my train of thought. My fault. Nah, but but hopefully they can start, like, hopefully they'll start doing more for them. You know what I mean? Like coming out with better games, coming out more stuff, pumping out more stuff, because there's more people with consoles and people having consoles, and they're gonna be able to put up more numbers now as far as game sales and this and that. So hopefully we got some great things coming from them. And you know what I mean? Like I said, I want to see what this VR stuff is. And I'm like I said, I'm not really sold on which one I'm going to get, but I'm excited to to see it all push forward. And as long as we have competition, you know, I just that's the only way we're going to be able to push it forward. If nobody's doing it, or you know what I mean, then
Yeah, we're gonna be stagnant, or
right,
we're gonna
exactly,
go into a direction we probably don't want to go. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
exactly. So definitely, so I'm
So
definitely excited for the future of that, man. So.
So I know that you, yeah, definitely during CES they went ahead and announced a lot of PlayStation VR stuff. I think it was more games are actually giving you VR support that are all, like Resident Evil 7 or not 7, Resident Evil 8 Village. I believe, of course, they said like Gran Turismo is another one. I believe there's a couple games now that are actually going to give you options to use the PlayStation VR 2 for free instead of, everybody knows how PlayStation loves their money and they charge you for any and everything now. So that was a highlight for them. And a lot of people actually got to test out the new hardware. So I'm jealous on that. Um,
Mm.
so I would love to, I just want to see the potential with this. I might not be a first time buyer of this, but like I've mentioned before, I wanted the first PlayStation VR, but it was just too much to it. This one seems more simplistic. It's just the price tag has me a little nervous, but
For sure.
it actually looks good when you compare it to the Oculus because the Oculus went up in price. So, just spend an extra $100 and you like the specs on the PlayStation VR 2 are way better than that of the Oculus. So you're probably getting your money's worth.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's interesting. So makes me wish I was there to test it out, but
Definitely.
but with that being said, I do have a list here of some things that were announced during Sony CES. Of course, they did TVs and things like that as well because it's an electronic expo show type deal. So I'm gonna pull up the article that I have here. This is an article that's on Mashable.com. So pretty much it's just highlighting the best gaming tech at the CES 2023, a new PlayStation 5 controller, a wireless TV, and much more. Just focus on the controller here. And I think there's something else as well. So as we all know, even though Xbox was the only one getting a new controller, PlayStation went ahead and announced their new adaptive controller here, which is a very, very positive thing for them to do. It says, while CES didn't give us much in terms of game announcements, we did hear about different ways to play the games we already have. Sony went ahead and announced Project Leonardo, which is their pretty much adaptive controller that just like how Xbox has for the people, I don't want to use the word, but with certain disabilities, that
Hmm.
aren't able to game with a regular gaming controller, they can game regardless of any limitations that they have.
Oh,
So
that's dope.
so it looks like Sony is finally getting on board with something there, especially with how hot they're. So 30 million, you know what I'm saying? So if they want to go ahead and get that chunk of people, that audience that can't play with the traditional controller, that's smart and that's a good thing in my book. So it says perhaps the splashiest part of Sony's CES press conference was the announcement of Project Leonardo, a code name for an accessibility minded controller for PlayStation 5. There's no price or release date yet, but what we do know is pretty cool. This controller is for people with physical disabilities that might prevent them from playing games adequately with the PlayStation 5's DualSense controller. Many of its components are swappable and the buttons can be reprogrammed to do whatever you need them to do. You can even map two button presses at once to a single button. Project Leonardo can also be propped up on a tripod or laid flat on a table, depending on the player's physical needs. One could argue this is a little late considering Microsoft's released the excellent Xbox adaptive controller in 2018. But hey, better late than never. And I agree with the last statement. Better late than never. All right. So Shane, what do you think about this here?
Facts. Better late than never. Like I'm definitely glad they did this. Like I said, it might be a little late on the at the end, a little late, but hey, they did it. So this is definitely a positive thing. I support everybody's ability to play the game. You know what I mean? Like, so I definitely support this. Like, so they should have been doing this stuff. So
Yes, sir. I
it's
totally
definitely a great
agree.
thing, man. Definitely a positive.
So, yeah, I agree. So the more people can play, the better, man. Especially being in a career field where a bunch of people, do the ultimate sacrifice, not the ultimate sacrifice, but they make sacrifices, and they come out not the same as they were when they went in. This is something awesome to see. You know, because video games help us escape. So imagine people that have limitations, what they think and go through on a daily basis. Playing video games might be a way for them to escape. So that's awesome, man. So another thing that was announced as well is they showed more of the Gran Turismo movie, which is crazy to me.
Mm,
Like
that's wild, right?
yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm I'm just I'm starting to learn. The less I know about movies, the better. Just give me a title and maybe like a little quick premise. I might read about it. But other than that, I don't want to see no trailers. I don't want to see no nothing. I'm gonna just jump into it because the wife and I, we actually went ahead and watched a movie called The Barbarian, which I heard was a sleeper, not a sleeper hit, but it was like it wasn't on a lot of people's radars. It came out and people loved it. So I went ahead and was like, "Oh, really?" Like they said, it's one of the best horror movies that came out that year. That's all I knew about it. I knew the premise of it, but I didn't watch any trailers or anything. So I just started watching it. She had no idea what it was about, and we enjoyed the movie because we didn't know. We was on edge the whole time because we were like into the movie. You know what I'm saying? We was hanging on every last second that was being shown. So it was a good thing. So with this type of movie, I think the less I know, the better, man. To be honest, like video game adaptation movies don't really go well. I know Need for Speed tried to do a
Uh,
car movie back in the day, and that didn't go over well. So I don't know about this one.
we just hope it's a hit.
Yeah, big
Well, we just had
facts.
to see, man. We just had to see.
We'll see. I mean, I think they were just they announced that a lot of PlayStation properties are actually going to try to become film and do TV
And TV
adaptations.
shows and stuff, yeah,
'Cause
series.
everybody knows that the Last of Us is coming out January 15th, so I'm
Yeah.
definitely down to watch that. Might do a little spin-off podcast thing. To been wanting to do it ever since the Halo drop, but do like video game centric reviews on properties like movies, TV shows, and stuff like that. So we'll see. It's looking promising. So I'm excited for that. And good thing you got your PlayStation and you've played The Last of Us. Have you started The Last of Us 2, or you just held off after playing The
Mm,
Last of Us?
nah, I haven't started anything yet. I just haven't had time, man. Just really been swamped, like for real, bruh. Like if you get
Yes.
my schedule's pretty stacked anyway, but imagine that plus working extra days.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I already know.
So,
All right. So let's go ahead and move on then. So the last little thing I have about this subject here is a little negative,
ooh,
but it definitely made rounds. It seems here that there's claims that using your PlayStation 5 vertically may result in hardware failure. All right. So which is a little bit concerning because I keep mine standing vertically. Um so let's pull up the article I have. So this is a article on pcmag.com. All right. And the article states that the PlayStation 5 looks to have a design fault that can take months to appear and only seems to happen if you use the console while it's in a vertical orientation. Hardware repair specialists working on PlayStation 5 consoles that fail to boot are finding the problem is caused by the liquid metal thermal interface Sony used on the custom AMD Zen 2 CPU. When the PlayStation 5 is oriented in a vertical position, over time, the liquid metal is moving and spilling out onto the components surrounding the CPU. This also means the liquid metal is no longer evenly spread across the chip, it's meant to help cool. All right. And here's a Twitter user, 68 Logic. He went ahead and just gave us a picture on what the CPU chip and everything would look like. So the article also states Twitter user at 68 Logic, who runs a hardware repair store in France, has told PlayStation 5 owners not to use the console in a vertical position and shared a photo of what can happen if they do. YouTube channel The Coder also shared a video of a PlayStation 5 repair, which turned out to be the same leaking liquid metal problem, a problem he said shouldn't happen, and pins the blame squarely on Sony.
Sony.
So and pretty much I just wanted, it says it's important to point out that many PlayStation 5 owners have been using their console in a vertical orientation, since launch, without any problems. However, it's impossible to tell which consoles have this problem. The best advice for now is to use it in a horizontal position if you have the space to do so. That way the chip and the liquid metal covering it is laid flat and should continue to evenly cover the chip. So Shane, once again, the tech guru over here, what do you think of this news, man? And with you just now getting
this is crazy, bro. When I seen this, I was tripping. I was like, what, for real? And then I thought about it though. Okay, the thermal paste that they're using is liquid. So you know what I mean? It's a liquid. Like it's not a paste. They chose to use a liquid thermal paste. So I mean, it only makes sense. But to me though, this is like the only thing that I feel like makes a difference or not is how often is your console on in that position? How hard are you running? How many games you got playing? What do you have booted up? Or you have a disc in the drive, or are you running off your, card or whatever or whatnot? So I just feel like eventually, if it was on long enough in this position, being heated up, being used, I could see this happening. I mean, it only makes sense. I mean, it's going to be turned on its side, so the seal is going to end up breaking, and it's going to, it's going to end up eating through the seal or whatever, and it's going to leaking out. It makes sense to where if it was down, it would be cupping it. You know what I mean? To where the liquid would just be held up against it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be like laying in it. You know what I mean? Instead of.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have yours standing up or sitting down?
Mine is laying down, and it has been laying down,
Okay.
and that's only because I don't have the room anywhere to stand it up, or I would probably have made it vertical. I would have had both my consoles vertical if I had the space to.
Dang, the Series X is laying down.
Huh?
You got the Series X laying down on its side?
Yeah.
That's a little.
Yeah, man.
No, people
Hey,
always
good. It look good to me, dog. That thing look clean. I think it looks sleek. It blend in better with everything than any other console, dude. In my decor, you know what I mean?
That's crazy.
You just oh, okay. You don't even notice it. You know what I
mean? I can't say nothing anyway. The wife made me hang mine behind the TVs, so you can't even see mine. You know what I'm saying? So nobody know I got the latest and greatest. At first I did. When I first got the consoles, they were sitting right there underneath the TV. People would come. Of course, they'd be like, you got a PlayStation 5? I ain't seen one of these in person, going off and going. I'm like, yeah, I got that Series X too. They like, oh, no, what's up with the PlayStation 5 though? I'm like, all right. But yeah, but then she was like, she thought that she just does not like that at all. So I went ahead, bought those mounts and got them mounted behind the TV. I need to do the same thing with the Nintendo Switch. I bet I'll play it more if it was hung up and if I had a Pro controller, for sure.
Right. Definitely. I definitely would need to invest in one of those as well.
Yeah. So, but yeah, man. So that's yeah, man. Hopefully, I guess you just outed me out. I played my PlayStation 5, but not as heavy as my Xbox. So, like you said, I'm probably getting lucky right now, or I might just have one of them consoles that, nothing's wrong with it right now. Thankfully, You know, I feel like definitely after that red ring of death, like man,
But
I
I
don't want
definitely
nothing.
feel like, did Sony know this the whole time? There's no way that they didn't know this was a possibility during testing. They didn't test it standing vertically. Like,
Hey
I'm
man,
not saying that. I'm not
let's
saying that it's going to happen to all of them or every single
yeah.
one. But if it starts becoming a big problem,
Yeah, I
I
better get
mean,
a refund or something and get a free fix.
right,
You
exactly.
know what I'm
A
saying?
new
Like
console, a new system, or something for sure.
that's a flaw on y'all. It's not like, oh, I had it and the dust got in it or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it's something my fault. That you could blame it was my fault anyway. You know.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, maybe because they did have a like a not a refresh, but a new SKU. It was like within before a year, they came out with a new PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
And they were saying it was like a little bit lighter than the launch model
Yeah, they
PlayStation
took it.
5.
They chopped out the heat sink.
Yeah, they cut it down. Yeah, so
Yeah.
um,
So,
yeah, but you know what
did
I'm
that
saying?
cause it? Or is it what was it this model? What models were these? Like, you know
No,
what I mean?
they said it was the launch models.
It was the launch model. So
So
okay.
you should be good. Mine's the one that's on iffy. Yeah,
But right.
but
That would
yeah.
make sense if the heat was in the theory, because then a larger heat sink, you would think it would work better, or maybe something else they used is failing. You know what I mean? Like we don't really know the cause of the problem, so we need to figure that out first before we can.
So hopefully it's just it's not a big deal
It's
and
just these two
these two
only.
pretty much, you know what I'm saying? So uh yeah. So but other than that, man, that's all the news I have about this topic, man. Was there anything else you wanted to go ahead and talk about and discuss before we wrap up the show?
Man, I thought about bringing up this as well. Have you been hearing or seen anything about maybe a new SKU possibly being coming up for the PS5,
Oh,
like a new model?
I've been hearing rumblings about it. Yes, for both consoles, Xbox and PlayStation. Actually,
Right, right.
yeah,
Uh, I've been hearing a little more about it on the PS5 than myself, and you heard about the one talking about with the detachable hard drive and all this and that. I mean, not hard drive, but disk drive and all that, or
yeah.
whatever.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, well, I heard something. I forgot where I heard it at or what I seen it on, but they were saying that they came out with something that's actually supposed to be legit or something or whatever, or then we may be hearing something. I'm like, but of course, everybody, this is just extra talk. This isn't
So
like
with that
news.
being said, so is the PlayStation 5 pretty much going to go down in price if that's the thing?
I
That's what
don't
it sounds
know,
like. Instead
man.
of producing two different consoles, they'll
You
just
would
produce that
think
one.
you
And
would
since
think, right?
it was $399, because that's what I started thinking too.
That would
I
make
was thinking,
sense. And then if you want to buy the hard drive, I mean the disk drive, you pay the extra whatever $100 or
mhm.
whatever they're gonna try to charge you for. It's gonna be too much. It's not gonna be worth the amount of a drive. I'm like, well, charging me $100 for that, and I can get a PC one for this. Like, come
Mhm.
on, man.
People thought it was. I wouldn't say it was desperate mode, but people did the disc. They were both gonna be $49.99 or 499.99 from the get go. I feel like, but then they saw that Xbox was coming with them with the $299 little boy, and they're like, oh yeah, we gotta have that $399. You know what I'm saying? That's where I felt. That's
Y'all,
where
you
the
thought they was
PC.
gonna both drop at the same price?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Where
Yeah.
I don't know, because they couldn't justify that, and it has less features. You know what I mean? Like it has less.
Yeah. I mean, it might have been
It's
a little
missing.
bit
It's missing
cheaper,
something. It's missing a disk drive. There's no way you can charge me the same price for something that's
but
missing
yeah, I
something
mean,
that the other
that's
thing
missing. That's
has.
what I was about to say. I was just about to say because I remember when the Xbox One SAT edition came out, the Xbox One S all digital, it was the same exact price, but it had more memory. is the
Right.
thing.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So
All right. Well, if they
that's a
did
little
that,
different.
maybe.
You know what I'm saying? If it was a full terabyte of the SSD, then maybe. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think it was just crazy. Like, dang, you pretty sure a $25 disk drive warrants an extra $100? Like, okay, like not even $25. But that's how I was looking at it. So that's what I'm saying. Like now, if the rumor is true, you think they still gonna be selling them for 500?
Yep. Yep.
Then you was just one of the lucky ones to get a digital version, launch version, I guess, for $3.99. That's what pretty much.
Nah, there's no way they can still sell them for 5 though. Like they have to. I mean, unless they can include more memory, that's
That's
the
probably
only
what.
way. That's probably the only way. You know what I mean? And if not, and then just include more memory, charge the same price, and then who for people that want to buy the disk drive, charge them an extra 50 or whatever. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And
I
to
can
keep the
actually
shit,
see that.
keep it the same price, but add a little bit more memory.
I can see them doing
I
that.
can see that being possible
They
for sure.
they're gonna do something with like
They're,
it's gonna be like
they're
two
just really trying to
terabytes.
figure out a way to make it cheaper to produce, so and they can
Mhm.
still keep getting that same dollar amount from it. Pretty much, that's what they want to
But
do.
they said they was already profitable before the first year was up.
Right. I mean, for
So
sure.
I'm sitting here. I mean, even though I know
But
things is
still,
changing now.
the more costs they cut on the console, and you know what I mean, like, and once they already have so many out there, it's like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna say that. I was about to say how many more could they really sell, but you have other
I
things that sell tons of
mean,
stuff. So I don't want to think about the Switch and
yeah.
the Wii and all that type stuff. So
I mean, I'm just trying to think of how it's just intriguing to see the digital version was $3.99, which it was the same exact thing as the $500 version, just no disk drive, which is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And it was $100 less. Now they're going to come out with potentially one with 1 terabyte and all digital for it has to
three
be
ninety
three.
nine
It has to be three. It
for three
has to
ninety
be three
nine.
ninety nine. Has to be, and then that's gonna hurt Xbox right then and there. Like if they were able to pull that off, you know what I'm
Right,
saying?
exactly. And then they can still offer you the disk drive. Like, we're not forcing you. We're just giving you a
Mhm.
cheaper option.
Yeah, and it's not
You
you're not
know, like,
mining two different
r-
consoles. It's one
right,
console with the
exactly. It's
device
one
attached to it.
console, right? So then they only got to produce one type, one model. So that's
Mhm,
saving them money on
mhm,
everything, shipping,
mhm.
all that. Instead of having to ship two of every, you know what I mean? Two these different models. We got this one thing. Oh, and you want this little extra thing? Maybe we'll send you a couple of these too. What's
Yep,
this drive? Nothing to throw
yep,
in or whatever.
yep.
This is all about saving them money, bro. You know what I mean? Like at the end of
Yeah,
the day,
that's
their
interesting.
bottom line is what matters.
You brought that up, so that's more to
Yes,
think
sir. That's
about.
it.
I'm gonna go to sleep thinking about it now.
Yes, sir. Food for thought. You know.
All right. So that about wraps up this show today. We're going to go ahead and call it a wrap. Hence wrap up. So we're going to go ahead and I actually I actually noticed that out of all these episodes I've been doing, I've been putting this little header down here and actually put the word wrap, like rapping, like it's a wrap up. You know what I'm saying? Instead of actually rapping. Anyway, also just wasting time here. Yeah, man, thank you guys for making it to the end of this video. Just want to thank you guys for the support. If you really enjoyed the content, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel so you can actually stay up to date when we do drop new episodes and new content for you guys. You know, this is 2023. We're going to start this podcast off strong this year and continue to just grow and do better. And in order to do that, we would love to see the our subscribers grow. So please go ahead and share this with your friends, family, anybody you feel like that will enjoy this type of content. We would really appreciate it. Also, if you could go ahead and go to Apple Podcast or Spotify and go ahead and leave us a 5-star review, and just tell everybody how much you love it, so we can actually get some, because I believe the more you review, the more it will move up and get recommended to people that actually use those platforms. So we'd really appreciate that. Also, go ahead and follow the Gamers Anonymous podcast on Twitter at Gamers Anonymous. It's GAMRS and then the word anonymous, all one word, Gamers Anonymous. Go ahead and follow us, so you can also stay up to date on new content there, and follow your boy at Donnie Tress, DONNYTR, the number 3S. I be on Twitter, enjoying good conversations of video games and everything like that. So definitely follow me, follow you back, and we'll just have a good old time discussing one of our favorite hobbies. Shane, where could the listeners find you at?
Yeah, you can find me as at TurpTech on Twitter. That's at TURPTECH on Twitter. Please, man, we really really like to hear y'all's feedback. We like to know uh what we're doing wrong. We can handle some criticism. You know what I mean. Don't kill us too harsh though. You know what I mean. Let us live now. Let us live. But definitely we definitely do encourage feedback, good or bad, for sure. Give a thumbs up if you would like. Definitely share. If you all like to reach out to us, like I said, it's at Turk Tech. And hey, it's another one. I mean, it's gonna be another exciting, great year. I'm definitely excited
Yes.
for gaming this year. I'm definitely gonna set some time aside for some games this year for sure. Um, you know, maybe we can get some short form stuff coming up soon. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Or you know what I mean?
Yes,
Hopefully,
sir.
get this PC built. You know what I mean? Maybe record that as well. You know what I mean? Definitely try to do some different content this year for sure.
Yes,
Different
sir.
things.
The more content, the better. Of course, that's what I've been told so far from lovely people who enjoy the podcast. So we're going to try to bring that to you guys also. But of course, we're doing this because we love to and we enjoy doing it and talking about video games. So of course, I am Trey Turpin. That's Shane Turpin. This is the Gamers Anonymous podcast. It's been fun, it's been real, but of course, until next time, never stop gaming.